All right, welcome. We are going to talk about selling your home. This is focused a little bit on mostly first-time sellers. However, if you're a seller at all, a lot of this will work for you, as it might be new to some people, but a lot of the things will be meaningful to everybody. So let's get started. Preparing your home for today's buyers. This is part one of a two-part series that we'll be doing. And at the end of this series here today, we'll talk about when the next time will be available for part two. So I am Berni, and I am the CEO and Realtor and Designer for New Century Real Estate and Interiors by Berni. Today we're talking about a very important topic. When you're selling your home, whether it's the first time or not, it is one of the largest investments you may make in your life. And so it's very important to know exactly what you need to do and what's most important. A little bit about the New Century team. We are a local independent company. We just opened a new location here in Sauk Rapids, Minnesota at 823 North Benton Drive. If you have time to stop by and say hi, please do. We are looking for new and experienced agents to join our team as we are growing. Our background comes with substantial background in not only real estate, but the construction industry, mortgage industry, and interior design. Let's get started from here. So, selling your home. What do you need to do first? A lot of people think that they're going to have to spend a lot of money to sell their home or get it ready to sell their home. That's really not the case. That may be the case in some situations, of course. But if you've been living in your home and maintaining it and taking good care of it, doing maintenance, hopefully that would not be the situation for you. We don't want you to have to spend a lot of money to prepare your home to sell. But we do want you to make sure that you make good impressions. As an interior designer, I believe that there's actually 3 first impressions. You get 3 times to wow them, and if you make it past these 3 times, they're going to walk in with a very positive attitude. So one would be the drive up. While they're pulling up to the house, what does it look like from the street? 2, what does it look like while they're walking up the sidewalk to the front door? And you should always have your clients, potential buyers, open the front door, not going through a side door or a back door. Your front door is oftentimes your best impression. And then once they open that door is the third first impression. So you get those 3, and if you get past those 3, they're really going to walk in with a positive attitude and be looking at your home in a much different mindset than if 1 or all 3 of these fail and are negative. They're going to walk in with that type of an attitude, and they're going to find everything possible wrong with your property. Preparing your home. Like I mentioned earlier, you do need to do all your minor repairs. Consider, cleaning the furnace and air conditioning unit. That is one of the things that come up on home inspections time and time again. And it's good practice to do that on a yearly basis anyway, so you should have that done. It helps maintain your furnace. It's going to help you in the long run anyway, so it's something you should be doing. Check for exterior repairs. Is there little things that need to be done on the outside? Sometimes, it could be that a little painting might be necessary, whether inside or out, but that's why we come in far in advance and take a look at your property, go through it, and really give you the personal care and personal touch of what we do here at New Century Real Estate while preparing your home for sale. The other things is make sure that your yard Now I'm kind of talking, we've already talked about the first impression driving up, so that would be your front yard. But now let's take a look at the side yard, the backyard, making sure that that is also well maintained. That is going to speak volumes when they're looking at the home. So make sure that the grass is kept mowed and manicured, that there's not weeds such as you see in the picture in the background. And make sure those bushes and trees are trimmed. Discard any items that are worn or need of repair. Make sure it looks inviting. That's most important. So while preparing your home on the inside, what do I need to make? Changes to my wall color, window treatments? Some people believe that they need to paint the entire house inside white. And I am here to tell you, no, please don't do that. That is potentially a waste of your time. Let us come in, take a look, and take a critical eye look at what really does need to be done. And sometimes, yes, maybe there is some painting be done. But keep in mind that we want to keep it to a bare minimum. Window treatments, right now the trend is to have very little covering on the windows. So we would take a look at that because, again, we want to attract what the most potential buyer is going to be for your home. Wallpaper, if you have wallpaper maybe in one room, that might be okay. If you have wallpaper in a lot of rooms that has been on the walls for quite a few years, yeah, it is likely needing to come down. But don't do it until you talk to a real estate professional so that you aren't doing work that you don't need to do. What really makes the difference is, I have depersonalize. And yes, depersonalizing is important. I'm not saying to take all personality out of your home. That is not what I'm saying at all. I believe that your home still needs to show and reflect that somebody lives there. So a little personality, a few family photos. It's just, we want to take those family photos down to a bare minimum. The buyer will spend too much time trying to figure out if they know you by looking at those rather than your home. And so that's the importance of taking those personal photos down. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you to take them all down. We're going to take a look at it with a critical eye, and we're going to take out certain amounts of those, but probably not all of them. We don't want to have too much furniture. Too much furniture makes the room look small. Now, we also want to declutter. You can see the before photo on the left in the back. That house looks very lived in. And I get it that that's how it can look when you have kids and when you have a busy household. I totally have been there and understand that. But when we are showing a property and we want to get the most money for your home in the shortest amount of time, we want to make sure that it looks pleasing to the eye, such as the after photo. This after photo gives you a better idea of what the room size looks like. It is more visual to determine if it's the right look for you, the buyer. Reduce kitchens. Kitchens are a really tough one because we utilize so much stuff in our kitchen, and oftentimes we have a lot of things on our shelves or on our countertops, I should say, on our refrigerator, on top of our refrigerator. I'm here telling you that that stuff all needs to come off. We need to have a clear slate. You can see the photo on the left looks very lived in. The photo on the right really reflects what that room is and what it has to offer. So, just decluttering, depersonalizing, moving that down a little bit. Here at New Century Real Estate, we utilize 5 active listings, 5 pending listings, 5 sold listings, or as many as we can find that are closest to your home with the most recent sales and the most recent data. From that, we can determine what your home range would be given the care and preparation of the home, what it's going to market on the open market for, and what the potential sale might look like for you. And we'll discuss at great length how that all works while we do our market analysis for you. Property disclosures. Now, if it's been a while since you bought your home, you're going to find that those property disclosures have grown. There's several pages, very detailed. It is very, very important that you complete all questions. Disclose everything you know. Note that if there was a death at the home, you do not need to disclose that unless it was a murder type situation. If it was a natural death, you don't have to disclose it. You could, but there's nothing saying that you need to. So it's only if there's a criminal thing that happened there that it would need to be disclosed. Keep in mind those disclosures is where you want to identify everything that's gone wrong with the property and how it was taken care of. If you had a hail damage and you had to replace siding and the roof, you'd want to identify that. If you filed an insurance claim, you're going to want to identify that. Also, if you live where you have a well and or septic system, there is, of course, more paperwork, more disclosures that you need to fill out, identifying how deep the well is, where it's located. You need to draw a map of where that location is and where the sewer is, and then keep in mind that you need to have a septic certification. That is a requirement to transfer real estate from one hands to the other, and a realtor will help you with getting in contact with the right type of people to do that. Now, if your home was built before 1978, there's yet another disclosure that you need, and that is a lead-based paint disclosure. Prior to 1978, there was lead in our paint, and so there potentially could be lead on your walls, on your trim, everywhere in the home could potentially have lead-based paint. So you must disclose what you know. If you've ever had a lead-based paint test, you would need to disclose that and the results. Now, there are many people that don't have that done, so you would not be aware of anything, so you would fill it out accordingly. The buyer and the seller both need to sign all the disclosures. After we get past the disclosures, then we move on to the listing contract itself. Now, that is a 6-page form at this point. Again, defining the beginning and end date. We decide on a list price. We determine what the commission amount will be. Keep in mind that commission amount will take care of the entire transaction. Know that that commission is negotiable. It will identify the listings agent's obligations and your obligations as the seller. It'll also identify who you want to handle the closing services, whether you want the broker to handle it in getting it organized, or if you want to handle it yourself or hire an attorney. These are all choices that you get to make. Most people choose to have a title company, and most people choose to have the broker arrange it based on your preference, but those are all options for you. We'll also talk about agency representation and what the listing agent's obligation is and what the seller's obligations are in great detail. Next, once we determine what we feel that the home will sell for, now we need to determine the seller's estimated net proceeds. And this will happen before, we sign the listing. We'll do up rough numbers. These are, of course, estimates because we don't know what the price will be, and a lot of things are based off of the price. So as we get an offer, then we will choose to write based on that purchase agreement. If we get multiple offers, then we do option 2 and option 3 and so on and so forth, so that you can see how the different dollars affects, because you might have a purchase agreement at the same dollar amount, which let's say 180,000, but the one that I have up there right now, you know, there may be some things on a particular purchase agreement, such as the buyer could be asking for the seller to pay closing costs for them, 3%, let's say. The one you're currently looking at does not have that figured in there. So obviously, if we have 3% of the purchase price, that's going to affect the estimated seller's net proceeds. So you want to take a look at each transaction and how it lays out. How do you choose a realtor? The first step is find the realtor, obviously, that's right for you. What are some of the things that are important? They need to speak honestly and candidly. They need to bring objectivity. They certainly need to be a good listener, and they need to ask questions. You want to make sure that they have your best interest at heart. Do they accommodate your schedule? We don't all work the same hours. We do have varying hours, and you want to know that they meet your demands. How quickly do they respond to your inquiry and questions? Very important that, you know, there is a time of urgency and response time is there for you. Do they work with all aspects of the real estate transaction? You know, where do they, you know, where are they specializing in? What is their background? What is their knowledge? Are they organized? Do they deliver results and provide a predictable, reliable quality service? These are all things that you will want to know when looking for a realtor. New Century Real Estate, we bring it down to the core values, the core basics. We have designed a pyramid, basically, that shows you how we feel our foundation of our company is built. Because not every real estate agent works the same way. We charge different fees than some work for commission only, some work for commission plus other fees. You want to know all these things when you're interviewing. You want to make sure you have everything in writing. I personally work for commission only. I do not charge additional fees. But as you can see, our core ethics or our core value is built on ethics, which includes those things such as integrity, respect, trust, patience. Customer service is extremely important. Confidentiality comes into play there. Effective communication and professionalism. Efficiency is built on top of that, having timely communication and simply doing things the right way. Creativity. Here at New Century Real Estate, we like to consider ourselves deviant thinkers and innovators. We like to think outside the box. We like to take a look at your home, determine who that next buyer is, and then put our marketing around that. We do all the standard marketing that any other agency does, but then we take it a step further. And then I'll be happy to talk to you more about that. And then our tools. Our tools are at the top. Without our tools, we would have the capability of, in today's market, to be competitive. Our tools are forever changing. Technology being our largest tool, we need to continue to be on top of technology and learning So everything above the black line there is our tools, and that's constantly changing. Everything below that black line is constant, and we want to make sure that we're always meeting those, and if we are not, we want to know.
We hope you've gained some useful information from today's video. If you have any questions for Berni Halaas or would like more information, you may contact her at 320-492-3420 or by email at bernie@newcenturymn.com. If you'd like this video, be sure to look for part 2 of this series where Berni talks about marketing to today's buyers.